Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are Two Crazy Ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
I learned a lesson today.
And what is that, sir?
Do not eat a bunch of wings and stuffed poblano peppers.
And then try to do
20
anything.
minutes before driving to Miami in an hour and a half traffic and then working a lacrosse game.
So
I was tired. I was like, I wanted to go to sleep while I was driving.
A lot of times people will ask, hey, I thought you're not supposed to snack. So why is it that if Joe has a game, he's talking about like just eating some keto brick on the way? And this is why.
Because it's the first thing I'm going to eat, and it's a meal
wow,
for me.
It really does. Like, I was able to, like, sit down, you know,
Fat
keep
doesn't
writing.
get me tired. Eating lots of protein
Gets me
I want to
tired.
take a nap.
I do. What about you? If you eat, like, a lot of protein in one sitting, do you feel a little tired? Sometimes, if we're out, I find that I feel cold.
Yeah.
If I eat a bunch of meat at a restaurant, I always bring a little sweater with me.
I mean,
like a weirdo.
A lot of times we will eat dinner, and then Rachel's like, you want to go watch TV? And 10 minutes, I'm out cold. And I'm only out for about 20 minutes, and then I'm wide awake. But man, that protein hits me. And
I'm feeling good now because, I mean, it's been several hours now. Yeah. And so...
Oh, no, I'm awake now.
We've got a Keto Chow ice cream waiting for us in the refrigerator. Or not the refrigerator, the freezer.
In the freezer.
I'm excited.
We're going to have Keto Chow ice cream.
Excited about that.
Speaking of Keto Chow, I saw Rosie said,
Hi, Rosie.
Was the first to give a thumbs up.
Yay!
And I'd like to give Keto Chow a try for a week. What do you think?
We done it.
We've done it.
Nothing but Keto Chow.
So, here's the, if you're going to use Keto Chow for a week, I think as your only source of nutrition, I think it's a good reset. Especially if you find that you're eating a lot of different things, eating a lot of different snacks. I think it's a good reset where you're putting yourself in this box going, this is the only thing that I can have.
And it is delicious, so it's easy to stay on track. You know what I mean? It's easy to make. It's sweet. A lot of times, you know, we always recommend doing some sort of like triple B&E or go, you know, have a week of carnivore or something. But I totally understand the appeal of doing Keto Chow for a week as like a reset and then
moving from there.
And then moving from there.
But the only thing I'm going to say is I would not, my personal opinion, now we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. We say that all the time, but I'm going to say it again. My personal opinion is I would not do Keto Chow only as your only source of nutrition for more than a week.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough protein. Like, add some more protein in somewhere. And I have said this numerous times. As a matter of fact, Chris Bear, the owner and creator of Keto Chow, and Miriam have said, though Keto Chow can be used, and he did it for 100 days,
100
as your
days.
only source of nutrition, that is not how it was designed. It's not why it was designed, and it's not optimal. I will die on the pillar saying that having a liquid-only diet is a horrible way to try to lose weight, even though it's Keto Chow, which is giving you all of your vitamins and nutrients and doesn't have all the sugar, that the garbage that the doctors will give us. Because you're not dealing with your food issues. And so you're reliant on that. And if you look at anybody who has ever tried to do a liquid-only diet, and eating Keto Chow as an ice cream, that's a liquid-only diet. When you go off of it, everybody gains back weight. I did. Rachel has. My mother worked in a hospital that did OptiFast when that was big and MetaFast when that was big. That's what happens. Keto Chow is really meant to be a 1 or 2 meal replacement. You're on the go, but you should be eating meat. But if you're going to do it for a week, I think it's a good, hey, I'm going to reset myself. But beyond that, incorporate whole food starting with meat.
Well, and what I like is the fact that we have this community, and you guys have helped me to have a safe space to deal with my own issues with food. And that's what we want to be for you as well. So I think that, before, whenever we tried to change our way of eating, but we did it in isolation and we were just like all by ourselves, there was nobody to talk to on tough days.
Right.
And now there's a whole community where you can reach out and say like, hey, I'm struggling with this particular thing. What do you think? And I love seeing everybody, kind of like rally around somebody that's, making themselves vulnerable enough to say, I'm having trouble this week.
Yeah.
What can you suggest?
So if you are new here, welcome to our Thursday live stream. This is the live stream we do this every live stream, always twice a week. Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Keto Beyond the Couch, and then on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Sometimes we'll throw an extra one in here or there, but these are our main live streams. And Thursday's live stream is a chance for us to hang out with the community, answer all of your questions.
We have a question for you.
Keto, carnivore, we'll pretty much ask us anything within reason. Now, the best way to get us to notice your question is you can put @2crazyketos. I'm always going to look for that first because I know a lot of people just kind of talk to each other within the chat. And then also you can use the super chat function, which we greatly appreciate. That's a little $sign. It's in the chat window. You make a little donation. That helps benefit the channel. It helps us be able to get to conferences. We have a lot of conferences coming up.
There's a lot coming up.
And guess what? Airline tickets this year, they ain't cheap. It's costing us over $1,000 per conference, and that's out of our pocket. We have to pay for that to go to the conference. Plus hotels, rental cars, all that kind of stuff.
All that fun stuff.
And also what that does is it highlights our screen. So if you are interested, if people ask, how can I help further your cause? How can I support you? A few ways. Number one, by using super chats on our live streams, by watching our videos and sharing our videos, hitting the thumbs up, commenting, all of that helps the YouTube algorithms. If you want to, we would greatly appreciate it if just while you're gone, take your television, put YouTube on 2 Crazy Ketos, and just let it play every single video. There's over 1,200 of them, so you don't have to worry, and make sure you have ads turned on to watch all of the ads. No, just kidding. Use our links down below, and then, of course, you could be a member of our Mighty Networks group.
We have, a few people who have used 2 Crazy Ketos for their animals.
Yes.
That we entertain. I
appreciate that.
We entertain cats and dogs. I love it.
So let's jump into this. I am going to apologize if I seem tired. It's probably because
You're actually
ate a
tired?
bunch of that and then went and worked a very boring, uneventful. I should be happy it was an uneventful game.
Yeah.
We actually went 2 quarters without throwing a flag.
What
that's
would put a smile on your face as far as games go? What do you like? What do you enjoy?
A good, intense game between 2 teams who really know how to play lacrosse that's competitive without all of the nonsense.
How often do you actually see that?
Twice a year.
I hate that.
I have one tomorrow. Tomorrow I have Christopher Columbus High School from Miami against Pinecrest, and Pinecrest is amazing. I think they're going to mop the floor with Christopher Columbus.
Ooh.
Maybe not.
Challenge accepted.
But I know the coaches for both teams. They are both no nonsense. They don't put up with their kids with unsportsmanlike acts.
Wow.
Never had a problem with either team. And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's game. Plus, it's at 7 o'clock, which gives me enough time to do a double deep dive in the morning, come home, bring our RV over to a Broward County Park because John Paul and Michelle are going to borrow our RV, and we get to babysit for 3 days our grandbaby.
We get paid, and we're on Oma and Opa duty for the next 3 days. This is the last night before we have a baby in our room. I'm so excited.
And my house now looks like we puked baby.
It's a daycare center, basically.
I keep seeing packages from Amazon. I just opened one up because Rachel, I make all our Amazon ones. She knows I'm going to order from Amazon every day. So she just sticks stuff into the cart and doesn't tell me. And then when I put something in and I hit order now, it orders everything that she put in there. And I come home from my game and I open up this box and there's things like puzzles that I'm like, 12 months and older. I'm like, honey, she's 3 months old.
I'm getting excited. I'm getting very excited. And I plan to have her reading on a 5th grade level by the time they take her home.
On Monday?
Obviously.
Okay, let's jump into the chat. Marie said, I'm back on Ketovore. Kitchen was finished last Friday.
That's
Feels so
great.
great to be back on plan. Going on a
Love
trip
it.
to Illinois, home. Sunday going to pick up meat sticks and cheese to put in my cooler. Yay me.
That is awesome. Great job and congratulations.
Debbie said,
Hey,
I have
Debbie.
that t-shirt, Joe. Yes, this t-shirt, Faith Over Fear, is actually from Keto Savage.
Yeah.
So I believe it's like, you can go to, if there's a link, if you go to ketobrick.com, but I think it's
feels
Live
so
Savage Apparel.
Good. They sell yoga pants. And oh my gracious,
Oh, I
they
just deleted one I
feel
wanted.
so flippin' good. They're very, very comfortable. I think that it's all in the material.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you use good material, it's like Autumn shirts. I always really enjoy wearing the Keto Strong shirts that Autumn makes because they just feel awesome. And I feel like no matter what it says, like it's great that it says something awesome, but if it feels good, you're going to reach for it every single time.
Bubbles Has Rules said, so
Hey.
excited. My hubby has agreed to join me at the July conference in
Wow.
Maryland.
Cannot wait to meet you there. We're getting so excited for KetoCon. I was able to kind of share a reel thanks to Lynette because we got some pictures taken when we were in Utah. I was sharing with Lynette, actually, those are the first pictures that me and you have done professionally since our wedding photos.
I wouldn't even count our wedding pictures as professional photos.
Because
it was just a
get photos.
friend of our realtor she's like, she takes good pictures. So she basically took pictures and gave us the disc.
But we just would never get pictures. Don't do like we did. Get pictures right now. Don't wait until you feel like it's okay to come out from behind a toss pillow. I took every single picture of my life with like a toss pillow or something like obstructing me that I would hide behind. And these are the first photos that we have that are not like that. So get some pictures done this year. It's time.
75 hard challenges complete, still going. New goal,
Wow.
365 days. That is
Oh
awesome.
my goodness, that's a long time to go hard. Way to go. Especially if you live in a winter state. Do you remember when Autumn was doing the 75 hard challenge?
Yeah.
And it would be like, if you got like bad weather, you still had to go back outside and like get the workout in. So proud of you.
Joanna said, I changed my YouTube photo. I thought you might want to know what I look like.
Ooh, you look so beautiful. Oh my gracious.
Dustin said, Jackie has loaned me her creamy so I can make Keto Chow
Now,
ice cream.
That is a friend. That's a friend right there. Hey, Indigo Nelly.
Bob is here, said, well, good evening, crazy
Hey, Bob.
family.
So good to see you, sir.
Rickwin said, feeding the dog treats so they will go to sleep while I watch the live stream.
It's all about planning, right? So what do I need for all of the grandmas and grandpas out there that are entertaining infants, or you're past that stage, but you remember it's fresh in your mind? What should a grandma and grandpa have on tap for a weekend with the grandbaby? Let us know. Let us know.
FMP Feel Good said, I posted in Two Crazy Ketos and Dr. Barry's Mighty Networks, but looking for food that can go into a PEG tube.
Okay.
I have no idea. Keto Chow has already been suggested. The patient would go through a bag in a week or less. I honestly, unless you just throw everything into a Vitamix.
Yeah, I have heard of people using Keto Chow as through a feeding tube.
Right.
Yeah, we've met several people in families that have utilized
I believe Nurse
that.
Cindy's sister
also
was doing that
and
before
then
she passed.
we had when Joe was going through dental surgery, he was eating pretty much that and scrambled eggs. Like you were making like the Keto Chow pudding and stuff like that. If you go through like a time of dental stuff.
Alyssa and John said, I haven't been sleeping in 3 years of maintenance, in bed at 10 a.m.
Wow.
Up at 3 to 4 every day. It's up at 3 to 4 every day. So much energy, I have no idea what to do with it. I have in the neighborhood of 130 to 170 grams of protein a day. Oh yeah, I have tons of energy. It's just I get sleepy for about 10 minutes after I eat. But it also depends on what I'm doing.
Also, where is that sleeping going to be?
Sitting in a car, driving, looking into the sun, that, like, all of that. If I'm doing something, I don't get tired at all. But it was like, I was talking to my friend Hugh, who I'm going diving with tomorrow. He's the guy who is working with me on my Dive Master certifications. And, you know, he was like, are you going to be able to handle tomorrow? Because we're doing 2 deep wreck dives and then I'm doing a game. And he was like, you know, most people, when they're done with dives, they're exhausted. And I'm like, I'm hungry and then I have more energy.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm not worried about it. I do have so much energy.
But it's that initial protein wall.
Yeah. Just depends on what I'm doing. Mayor Bear said, just like Keto Chow chocolate peanut butter ice cream.
Yum.
Janice is here, said, I made your famous sausage balls and my replacement kasori.
Oh, I'm so glad you got yours. That is awesome.
Yeah, it turned out ours, I actually went, because I did not want to wait, I went and bought the double bin Ninja air fryer.
Okay.
Because it was on sale at Costco. And it's going back. Never even took it out of the garage. It's still in the box. Because it turns out ours was not on the recall list.
Was it not?
Nope.
I thought it was all of them.
No, it was only a specific model.
Wow. That's a good
made
thing.
Made at a certain time. And I stand behind them. I still think they make amazing products.
We sure do
but
use
you know
a
what?
lot.
Everything has recalls now and then. Like,
yeah.
I've never owned a car that didn't have a recall.
Well,
that doesn't mean I avoid that brand.
We were even looking at different strollers.
Yeah.
For Peyton, so that we would have our own. And I was like, oh my gracious, there's a lot of like recalls even on strollers.
Exposing Darkness said, I got a big bag of Irish cream and laughing
Yay.
at the message on the bottom of the pack. A secret message panel says, what makes this so delicious? It's not grape.
Who do you think came up with that secret panel, huh?
FMP Field, also there are low-carb registered dietitians that can do telehealth.
Yes.
I haven't tried the low-carb provider sites. Yes, there are. Depends on where you live in the country.
There is. I know that we also met a nurse you might want to talk to.
If you go back to when
it was
we
in
were
Omaha
2 years ago.
There is a nurse that does.
And she does several states.
Yeah. That you would, and I think I put like teledoc or telenurse or something in that video, but she's awesome.
Yeah. It's not the one. It is not the one where we froze the kombucha. That was the following year.
No.
Keto Simple said, we're looking at doing some sort of Keto Chow 7-day challenge at some point. May wait, until the core is in big bags.
That's not a bad idea.
I really do like the core. Let's see. Ready, set, keto. Sandra said, thanks for being here. I'm struggling with giving up sugar. I did great for 5 days and then I caved. I can't seem to continue on.
I like to look at what is happening on that day. Like what is happening in your life when you have that moment of like, finally I'm breaking. Like, because usually I find that there is some sort of a stressor that is in the midst of it. There's something going there, you know, there's usually something else that you reach for the sugar is at least in my experience.
Yeah.
That there's more than just that going on. It's not just a case of I just don't want to have that anymore and I think it's just landing on top of me like a piano. There's usually like more going on.
What is her
in the
problem?
Space? Tabitha's like, I'm coming in that room. No, you're not. Yeah, so I'd love to chat about that.
One suggestion I would have is when you're having a sugar craving, try eating some salt because it hits the same signals in your brain and sometimes that helps.
Yeah.
Another suggestion would be putting it in a box and not sugar, but like taking your like, hey, I need to have something sweet and saying this is where I believe having some type of a keto product can be beneficial in the beginning and saying, I'm going to allow myself 1 square of Lily's chocolate. I'm going to allow myself 1 keto brick puck. And that's all you get. But at least it helps you and you will find that eventually it goes up. The only thing I always say is don't go into it. Do not look for lookalikes. Do not look for, hey, I want a keto version of an Oreo cookie. No, find something else that is keto friendly, that has clean ingredients, that isn't like the real stuff, if you want to say, like, you know, so don't look for like a keto version of like, I don't know, a Hostess cupcake. have a regular, like an actual keto cut, and don't try to compare it because you're going to get disappointed, and then you're going to go back to the original thing.
Right.
So just find something that will satisfy enough of a sweet taste in keto. For a lot of people, it's salt, or even using some heavy cream with a little bit of liquid sucralose or stevia, something like that. For a lot of people, brown butter bites, that helps. And use that as a crutch until you get past your craving.
But I love if you didn't hear, our latest podcast episode is with Dr. Brian Lenskis. And I just loved what he was talking about as far as, taking a look at what else is going on in your life and stress reduction and all that, and the importance of that, because I think sometimes we get into tunnel vision, like it's just a matter of like bad and good ingredients, and that we can just double down on like taking a look at what's on our plate, and we don't have to look at anything else going on in our life. But I think we're going to be very disappointed. At least I was thinking, well, if I could just get the food right, then I won't have to deal with anything else. And for me, that just didn't work either. So it was really important for me to take a look at sleep and stress and movement and like all the other things, relationships, like all of the stressors, good and bad in your life.
Jazzy said, recovering from COVID, when does meat and fat start tasting good again? At this point, they make me want to throw up.
I'm sorry.
Maybe try a little bit longer of a fast, or just eat something else. Get yourself healthy first. When we had COVID and it was bad for like a month, in the heat of everybody having it, nothing tasted good. So we pretty much just didn't eat. And then when we did have things, what we survived on, honestly, was electrolytes.
Yeah.
That's what we survived on, was just lots of electrolytes, lots of Redmond Relight, probably 5 or 6 of them a day each. And then we were having Zip Fizz at the time, and it was a great time to have all of the ones that you didn't like.
Yeah.
Because we didn't taste it.
Right.
But we just chose to not eat because
we couldn't taste it anyway.
Couldn't taste it, and I
we
didn't
felt
enjoy
miserable. Like, so we totally get it.
I know that's not an easy thing.
It's not fun, but what happened was, it's like you're laying in bed and you can't taste anything and you can't smell anything and you feel awful. So what we did was just try to like watch movies we really liked. You know what I mean?
Right.
Try to find some entertainment that you enjoy, and get some fun out of that.
I would say one thing that
food makes you mad.
We've had conversations with Dr. Lenskis, and we touched a little bit on it, not necessarily on COVID, but just in general during our podcast, was the gut biome and the fact that an extended fast helps reset your gut biome.
Yeah.
And your gut biome will help fight COVID. So having that good gut biome can help. So
butt biome.
You might want to just look into trying to do a little bit of a fast, and that might help you a little bit.
Yeah.
Annabella said, I'm baking later
Annabella.
today. I'm going to make a strawberry Swiss roll with Keto Chow for an afternoon tea tomorrow.
How sweet.
Yeah, we actually made something similar to that a couple of years ago.
That is lovely.
Rita said, goodness,
Rita.
no, they ain't. I paid more for a one-way ticket than the original round trip I had to cancel part of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, even going to the cruise, because we have to fly to Galveston like so many other people, between our transportation from the airport to the hotel, and then what it's going to cost to go from the cruise line back to the airport, and our flights, they were almost as much as the cruise itself. And the reason we're flying into the smaller airport is because the tickets, for us to fly into the main airport, the Bush airport, they were going to cost us like $1,200. And with layovers, it was going to be like over 6 or 7 hours. So yeah, I mean, but $1,200, I mean, that's pretty much close to the cost of the cruise.
Right.
And the cruise is 7 days. Speaking of which, Shauna said 2023 low carb cruise,
Yay!
72 days and 12 hours away.
I cannot believe it. And we are less than a month away from KetoCon. How exciting is this? I know I'm going to get to see Rita there and so many others. Becca, I know, is going also. So this is going to be super, super fun. I'm really, really excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm also excited that it's not going to be 1,000 degrees because they're having it in April instead of
I don't know.
July.
Based on today's temperature, I'm not like confident in that.
It may be hot.
Keto Simple Dustin said, can't say I have not done that with our channel.
Can't say I've not. Oh, okay.
Carrie's here, said I had a funny
Carrie.
in a Zoom. The dad with his son said he had the con. And then I said, I want to see him get beamed up. They all laughed.
Oh, like
I'm assuming the
con.
calm. No, the calm. Like I have the calm.
Oh.
I think he just meant calm, but he put con.
I thought it meant like con. Remember from Star Trek?
Carrie said, I'm glad I have both computers. The Windows computer went down and I had to open it and then fix it. And now it's going again.
So frustrating computer issues.
Shauna said, Oman Opa. Dude, how absolutely
I am
fun.
really, really excited.
Let's see. Rick Wynn said, if you can do this for 30 days, it will become a habit. It took me a while to quit eating bread, but I don't even want it nowadays.
Yeah, it's really, it does make it easier if you don't bring those things home from the grocery store.
Right.
Like that, and I understand that people have to live with other people who maybe are not keto. And so like you may have to live in the midst of food that may trigger you. But even if I have a talk with the kids or talk with your partner and say like, if you're still gonna eat all the things, then could you maybe just not eat this thing? Like, this is my problem cookie. This is my problem flavor of ice cream. This is the problem cereal in the house. If they're able to eat, oh my goodness, my watch. If they're able to eat other stuff, then if they could not eat the 1 or 2 or 3 things that are really high triggers for you, that would really help.
Right.
Like, because if it's just not in the house, that really helps. But I will do my part and not bring it in the house.
Right.
Because I don't want to have a debate with it later.
Shauna said, can you soften up meat, say a roast, after it is cooked somehow? You guys enjoy pain. I would say yes. The easiest way to soften up the meat after you cook it, especially if you cooked it well done, which I don't know why you would cook beef well done, but that's a different story, would be a sous vide. Putting it in a sous vide is good. Anything else is going to dry it out more. So the best way, or an Instant Pot, but the best way is going to be in a sous vide because that is going to help it retain its moisture. But if you cook it in the oven or the microwave or an air fryer, you're just going to dry it out more, and it is not going to be good. Mommy said, sleep tonight. Be ready to stay up.
Now, there's a grandma who knows.
Will be sleeping. Because the last time we had her, now they were in the room next to us, we got to keep her for the night. And
that child was blanketed in prayers because I was like, don't, Lord, you know that if she starts crying,
we have the magic touch.
If you know that she starts crying, they're not going to trust to leave us, the baby. So I really need you, Peyton, to not cry when mommy and daddy can hear you, because then they will never let us have her.
Crystal said, I finally got a Ninja Creamy, $50 at
Wow.
half off wholesale place. Can't wait to try out my Keto Chow.
Oh, you're going to love it. The texture is so good.
Alyssa and John said, support Teen Savage. They dumped a lot of cash to make that merchandise in-house, made in the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Robert. He makes everything at home. He doesn't put anything out. He doesn't outsource anything. No co-packers. And that's why people will ask, like, why don't they always have all the flavors in stock? And that is because they've moved several times. I mean, we've been purchasing keto bricks since they were making it in their kitchen.
Yes.
And then they were renting a facility and having to drive several hours once a month to do it. Then they moved into the other place where they possibly were living in their warehouse, but not probably, and now they're in this other place, which was, I think it was originally, it was like a food store, like a Publix kind of thing, and they bought it, but they make everything, so they in-house, so they can only run, like they have the machines to make a batch, and then they got to clean the whole thing, and so they make large batches, and a lot of times by the time they finish up all those batches, the flavor is sold out, and they have rotations of what they can do.
Doesn't it make your heart so happy, though, when people are doing things the right way, not cutting corners, using quality ingredients, and you see a business growing. Like, it really makes my heart happy to see business done right.
Yep.
And then success in that business.
Yep.
That just blesses my heart.
Yeah. Sherry on a low carb journey said, I love your shirt, Joe. Which is better for lowering A1C, carnivore or keto?
Ooh, I love
I
your
lowered
glasses.
mine from 6.3 to 5.8, my triglycerides and HDL normal ranges. Now I want to eliminate pre-diabetes. Carnivore is always going to be the best way. Possibly.
I hear a but coming.
But, okay,
there it is.
Carnivore is going to be the best way because it is going to be the lowest in carbohydrates. However, if you are eating high protein carnivore and not eating enough fat, you could possibly end up having elevated glucose at times because you're not giving yourself enough fat. So it's a tricky thing. Both of them will help you lower your A1C and not be a diabetic anymore.
My mom's in the
I'm saying
chat.
that not as a doctor.
Yeah,
okay?
but we have family members who have done it.
Now, what type of keto are you doing? Are you eating lots of snacks? One of the keys to helping you is going to be keeping your insulin reactions to just 2 or 3 times a day. So if you're eating 8 meals a day, I don't care if you're eating steak 8 meals a day, you're going to end up probably with some insulin resistance because you're continuing to give yourself insulin because your body's going to keep making it every time you eat something. So either one is going to help you. When it comes to keto, I like keto, okay? There's nothing wrong with carnivore. For me, it's not sustainable long term because I want vegetables once in a while. Sometimes I want a keto brick. Sometimes I want a keto chow. There's nothing wrong with them. It's up to you what you want and what journey is the most sustainable for you, but just make sure you're keeping it clean. And by clean, I mean stay away from the products that you see in the stores that are labeled keto and then they have like coconut sugar and that kind. You need to know your ingredients.
Bunch of wheat and oat flour.
And keep your carbohydrates as low as possible. I never give a maximum number saying like, well, you can eat up to 20 total carbs a day, up to 30 total carbs a day. Keep it as low as possible. If one day you're having 5 total carbs, but another day you're having 20 total carbs, that's fine. But count total carbs. I mean, I've seen people recently on videos, they're like, well, I had 27 net carbs. Well, and I'm still in ketosis. Let's figure out the total carbs. And when you start looking at some of the stuff that they're eating, it's 200 or 300 total carbs. Well, that's going to mess with you, and that is going to affect you possibly trying to lower your A1C. So I think either one is good. It just depends on what you want. I mean, carnivore is going to be the lowest carb, but make sure you're consuming enough fat with it. Please do not demonize fat. You need fat in your life.
Well, and I think it's really important that you select a way of eating that is sustainable only from like the standpoint of your mindset and you having a relationship with you. If I set a bar that there's no way that I can sustain for the rest of my life, then when I inevitably have to go down a rung, I feel like a failure. And it's really hard to go through every single day of your life, each 24 hours thinking, I'm failing, I'm mad at myself. Why do I always, mess up? Like, these thoughts are not helpful. Talk about something that's undermining to your health is when you feel like you're losing in the battle of life. So if I set the bar at keto and some days drift into ketovore and even carnivore, that's great. It's a win-win-win. Right. But if I set the bar for me like carnivore for life and then have to go down rungs, then I start to feel like I'm losing. And that makes my heart hurt.
Scott said, me again,
hey,
love
Scott.
you guys. Day 36 of carnivore, and I'm still struggling with understanding the cholesterol in real eggs is okay for me. I love egg beaters, but they have no fat, but no cholesterol. Thoughts? Your body needs cholesterol.
Yeah.
Please watch Dr. Barry's videos on cholesterol, Dr. Sivas's videos on cholesterol, Dr. Boz has a great video with really cool animations on cholesterol. Dr. Sean Baker. I'm giving you a whole bunch of doctors. There's lots of doctors that you can go and watch who are on YouTube that talk about cholesterol. Dave Feldman, as far as I'm concerned, is an expert on cholesterol. Go to cholesterolcode.com. He's doing lots of research on it. Your body needs cholesterol. Mm-hmm. There is no evidence, no study that shows that dietary cholesterol raises your body's cholesterol. As a matter of fact, your body creates cholesterol. If you don't have cholesterol, you're going to get very sick. You need cholesterol.
Your brain needs it.
So don't worry about what you're looking at when it comes to your cholesterol. And I know this is hard because it's been beat up into us that, hey, LDL is bad, HDL is good. That's not even true because it's not even cholesterol, it's lipoproteins. There's different types of LDL. You have LDLA, you have LDLB, you have big fluffy LDL, you have little tiny ones, you want big fluffy stuff. We have very high LDL. We have very high HDL. We have extremely low triglycerides. And more studies are now showing that what the more important marker, the better marker for possible issues with coronary heart disease and other things is actually your ratio of HDL to triglycerides. You want to have at least 1-to-1 HDL to triglycerides, up to like 3-to-1 HDL to triglycerides. So like, for example, last time we had a blood test, Rachel's triglycerides were like in the 40, and her HDL was like 120. It's 3-to-1. You can't get healthier than that. And oh, by the way, she had a 290 LDL, and 3 different doctors looked at it and said, "You're healthy as a horse." Now, her total cholesterol was over 500. And they said, "You're healthy as a horse," because we looked at everything else.
Don't look at that total number.
It was this one thing. I mean, remnant cholesterol was 0. So those are the things you really need to work at. But go check out all their videos, and that will help put your mind at ease. And oh, by the way, if you look at statistically people who do have heart attacks, most of them have perfectly normal cholesterol according to what doctors say is normal cholesterol. So if cholesterol is the big deal when it comes to heart attacks, why do a lot of people who have heart attacks have perfectly normal cholesterol? The real issue when it comes to having bad cholesterol and clogged arteries is actually coming from the sugar and the carbohydrates, as well as the inflammatory oils. That's why we're getting away from seed oils. Seed oils are keto. Just for anybody who wants to argue with me, it's fat. They are keto friendly. You're consuming fat, but they're going to kill you. So
they're not good for anybody.
They're not good for anybody, whether you're keto or not. So if you have friends and family members who are on keto and you go to their house and you see canola oil in their cabinet, when they're not looking, turn around, take it, and throw it in the garbage.
Right.
Serious.
Where did that go?
Like, don't let any of your loved ones, no matter what their diet is, eat that, because that is one of the main culprits. Also, I highly suggest reading Mark Sisson's books on Primal Way of Eating, and he talks a lot about this as well.
Very interesting.
We read that one. Annabella said,
Hey,
I
Annabella.
cried when I had a full-length photo taken recently. I was much bigger than I thought I was.
Oh, you're doing great. Don't you be hard on yourself.
Buck, thank you very much.
I'm so proud of you for getting a photo.
For the $5 super chat, said, I like collagen drinks from a keto company. Is it okay to have them twice a day? Any overdoing collagen?
I wouldn't.
It depends on what you're doing it for. Just understand collagen is not a complete protein. So you're not getting all of your protein, all of the amino acids, because collagen is not a complete protein.
But we enjoy drinking them, so yeah.
So yeah, I just know.
I like to drink it with a meal.
Know how many carbs and that kind of stuff is in there. FNP Feel Good said, I got my hubby raised cookies for his birthday. They are pretty good. They should just combine the 2 cookies into one giant cookie. I would agree.
Totally agree.
She also said, knowing so much more now than I used to about the proper human diet doesn't make it much easier to stay on the wagon sometimes.
And that's the thing, right? Why is it difficult to stay on plan? Because our diet changed, but our hectic lifestyle, the demands of life, the energy that we have to bring to keeping relationships afloat, like, all of that stuff stayed the same. We just changed what we were eating. We changed our groceries, but you know what? The washer and dryer still break, and, sometimes there's still a blizzard happening outside. I mean, there are stressors in life, and so we have to do our best to try to manage through that. And it's very normal for us to, in a moment of stress, reach back for what we used to reach for. Why? Because we remembered that it works. And our brains, they're pretty lazy. They're gonna find those behaviors that they've just done over and over again as a form of consoling ourselves. So what we have to do is put in some energy into finding things that bring us joy, show us, give us consolation, before that moment arrives, right? Like, you need to be on the lookout of, wow, this place really makes me feel relaxed, or this place really gives me a lot of joy, or boy, that movie really makes me crack up. So that when you need a laugh or you need a rest, you have something else besides food at all to turn to in a moment of stress.
Laura said hobby is closer to Galveston than Bush. Yeah, it is. However, everybody is flying into Bush, and the airport and the hotel for the night before, and where the pre-cruise dinner and all that stuff is next to IAH. So we need to go from hobby to IAH, unfortunately. And that is where anybody who's paid for the bus and stuff for the cruise, that's where they're going.
Yeah.
So we're kind of on our own. Somebody said bacon and butter helps them with their cravings.
Oh, that's nice.
Rita said, hold them facing, talking about the baby, and talk to them.
Yes.
Smile and make silly faces.
I can do that. I can absolutely do that. And also, I've been reading a lot this week just to kind of freshen up. And definitely they love mirrors, and in my she shed I have wallow mirror, and
you act like you've never had a baby before.
I know, but I want to be perfect, Joe. I want to do my very best. I want to bring my A game to this Oma-ing.
Alyssa and John said first aid kit, patience, and hugs is all you need.
Aw, I love it.
Hopefully not a first aid kit.
Right now. We have it, so we don't need it.
Lori said, I plan to make your Keto Chow, your Keto Chicken Crust Pizza 2.0. Any more tips? I have all the ingredients ready to go. Dry it, squeeze out as much of the moisture out of the chicken as possible, and then don't over dry it in the oven. So you want to dry it, but don't get it where it's got those little crispy bits. It won't be as good. And then when you put it in, you're kind of partially cooking it. Remember, the chicken is already cooked, so you're just trying to get it a little crispy, so you have a crispy.
And don't be stingy on the toppings,
no,
yo.
don't be stingy on the
Pizza
toppings.
tastes the most delicious when it's got lots
Somebody
of good
did
toppings.
ask during the premiere today, do we have sugar in our tomato sauce? And the answer is no, right? We always buy
sugar-free, no added sugar.
No added sugar tomato sauce.
Yeah.
So there are a few brands out there. Rayo's is one of the most popular ones, but if you go to Costco, there's lots of different brands. We bought one day they had this one on clearance, so we bought 20 jars of it. And even the kids use it. And I think it's 4 or 5 carbs for a half a cup. That's about what we put on an entire pizza. So the only possible sugar that appears in our pizza would be any sugar that's naturally occurring in tomatoes.
Right.
But we don't add sugar to anything we eat, ever.
No.
We don't use honey, never. So we have not had sugar that we know of in 5 years, almost 6 years now. Lori said, I plan to make, I just read that one. Bubbles says, no special toys needed. I get on the floor with her.
Yes.
Tupperware, wooden spoons,
Absolutely.
things with texture.
Well, and it's so funny because, Michelle is a little bit nervous about, taking this time too. It's hard, your first time away from your baby. And she was like, okay, you could wear this because, when you're trying to do the other stuff in the house. And I was like, oh, here's the thing. I'm a grandma now. So just playing with her is the job this weekend. That's my only focus. I think that is the beauty of being a grandparent, is that when you're the parent, you have all of these things that you are trying to shuffle around at the same time. When you get to be the grandparent, me having her is my job. Like, that's the only thing that I have to focus on. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to be great. I just want to make sure that I have everything that she needs for her to have fun, because as far like I don't need to do a bunch of things and also have a baby. That's very different than when you're a mom.
Okay. Cindy said,
Hey,
Rachel,
Cindy.
for a 3-month-old, all you need are your arms to hold her, your shoulder for her to lie on, and her food and diapers.
Yum, I love it.
FMP Philbook is any tips on learning to scuba for someone who only makes it to a coastal state a few times a year? Hubby is an avid saltwater aquarium coral enthusiast, 180-gallon tanks.
I would talk to.
There's local dive shops around you. Chris and Miriam live in Utah.
Well, and Sarah G's doing it in Wisconsin. And it's the same situation. They'll have like pools if they need to. They can handle it even if it is like during the winter. Mm-hmm. There's always like some sort of a workaround. I think that Miriam and Chris even did their like open water in like a volcano. Yeah.
Now, there's another option that you can do, but not all dive shops will do this. But what you can do is, when I say all dive shops, I'm talking about the one that I'm going to tell you that you're going to go to. What you would do is you would take a lot of your classroom. You do a lot of pretty much all of now the scuba certification programs, and they're pretty much, they're close. They're all similar. So find the one. You're not looking for a certification program. So it doesn't matter whether you are PADI, SSI, SDI, TDI. There's hundreds of them. What you're looking for is a good instructor.
Right.
Okay.
Somebody that makes you feel safe.
I don't care who they are. You just want a good instructor that you can relate to. Rachel's first instructor was horrible.
It scared me.
But the person who she finished with was amazing and understanding. And even now, Rachel has not yet been boat scuba diving. Why? We're waiting for a calm day, which we have not had. And she is open water certified, but has only done beach dives and pool dives and lake dives, but she hasn't gone on a boat because she's not comfortable. And my friend, who is an instructor for instructors, understands that and has a lot of patience with her. That's what you're looking for, an instructor that you can relate to and get along with, just like a coach.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you sign up at a local dive shop that you really like, where they're going to teach you the basics. They're going to put you in a pool. You're going to do all your pool work, taking off your mask, all of that, how to set up your gear, all that stuff. And then let's say you're coming to Florida and you say, hey, I know I'm going to be in Florida in 2 weeks, and that's where I want to finish up, because you have to do open water dives in at least, I think it's 25 feet of water that you have to do your open water dive. What you do is you do your first work there, your book work and your pool work with them, and then you ask them for a referral. And they fill out a form saying that you've completed all of these things, and then you find a dive shop, say, for example, here, like my friend Hugh at Undersea Sports. We make no money off of telling them. They're just awesome.
He's just awesome.
And then they actually review everything with you to make sure that you actually had a good instructor. And then they take you out for all of your like ocean dives and stuff like that. And South Florida has some of the best diving in the country. We actually have I just recently learned this, the second largest barrier reef.
How cool is that?
We did not know that. Second to the Great Barrier Reef. Did not know that.
Pretty proud of us.
And we have so many different, because we have the Gulf Stream, we have so many different species of animals. It's amazing what you can see. So, but yeah, that's what I would do is do that, watch lots of videos. There's a great YouTube channel that I like called, I forget the name of it. I just know the guy. It's like Divers Down or something like that. It's like a British guy. But
that should narrow it down for you.
No, if you go Divers Down, if you go search YouTube Divers Down, you'll find him.
Okay.
But that's where I would start. Mama Cat said,
Hi, Mama Cat.
I was new to Keto Chow when I got an email about the wonky batches. I didn't know any difference, so I really appreciated their honesty and customer service.
Yes.
They're amazing. That's one of the reasons we love them and we like to work with them. And I can tell you, when Chris discovered that, it was just messing with him. Right? Because he was like, what are we going to do? I feel bad for these people. It wasn't a financial thing. It was just like, he felt bad.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how can this happen? Because
But
they take such steps, but it happens. They take such steps for quality control.
Oh my gracious. Like, you are doing things with a 3D printer, one little item at a time, with as much care as you possibly can, and things still mess up. Right?
If you saw, you would...
It's a manufacturing.
You would freak out if you saw. So right now, I'm trying to make drawer organizers for the RV. I want like different little, and I'm custom making all these organizers. I've been printing for the last 20 hours and I have not gotten one yet that works. Because like there's been a failure somewhere. So I know one right now is pretty. The other ones are usable, but they don't look pretty.
Right.
And like there's like bad marks on them and stuff. It's dialing it in is very hard.
Keto Chow is integrity. Like, if you look up integrity in the dictionary, I think that they list Keto Chow as like one of the definitions of integrity.
Okay. Marley said, I'm jealous of all
Marley.
the diving that you do, Joe. I did a dive trip to Belize about 20 years ago, and it was a trip of a lifetime, but sadly haven't had the opportunity to dive
What
again
a
since.
neat opportunity.
We are blessed that I'm 10 minutes from the ocean.
Well, we used to be like Florida.
Ugh. I'm still Florida. But
I'm not.
I like Florida.
I'm glad that you're finding more reasons to like it.
I want to stay in Florida because our children are in Florida. I want to move up towards Central Florida and have a farm. But it will be sad that I won't be 10 minutes from the ocean when I do that. So
it's really nice, though, when we find some reason why it's like, okay, this may not get us on that Florida Man website.
Because it's not Florida Man right now.
It's like good stuff.
Mama G, what is the best way to lower your triglycerides? Continue to eat your meat. Eat your meat.
Consistency is key, I think.
You want to eat your meat, exercise. When I say exercise, move. Okay, so move every day. Do push-ups, pull-ups, squats, planks. Lift heavy things. That'll help your HDL. And then do sprints once in a while and avoid all the seed oils. Avoid carbohydrates and sugar. Those are the things that are going to lower your triglycerides, and you will see them come down. I haven't seen anybody who is truly doing keto or carnivore properly not lower their triglycerides.
Yeah, same.
And that's the thing. We have to be honest with, am I really doing it right, or am I what people call dirty keto? And I mean dirty keto, I mean like buying Hellmann's mayonnaise and using lots of seed oils. Once in a while, it's not going to affect you, but it shouldn't be in your life every day. If you go out to a restaurant and you have blue cheese dressing and it's made with the seed oil, that's not the problem. The problem is when you're eating 7 or 8 tablespoons of that every single day, or like you go to a fair and you take carbohydrates and buy a Zeppeli, which is nothing but floured garbage covered with sugar that has been deep fried in soybean oil.
I think we've all been there where you're like, I don't know what's wrong. I'm Monday through Friday, awesome, and Saturday and Sunday's my day off. So I think that makes a big, difference too. So it's what does Mary T say? Keto every day.
Yep. So people are responding to how to deal with the sugar. So John said, when I have cravings, I eat just meat, usually pepperoni or little smokies. If I want something sweet, I eat brown butter bites. So
I find too that getting full, like being authentically full, really helps too. Like eating a whole bunch of meat. And then even if you're just having that conversation with yourself, like, I know I want something sweet right now, but first, meat. So that is the first thing. My first line of defense is going to be, I am going to get full on what I know is like the best food for me. Right. And start there. Because at the very least, the worst case scenario, I have less room for error, right? Yep. If I am walking into a situation on an empty stomach, how many undermining things can I eat on an empty stomach versus how many undermining things can I eat on a full stomach? Right. I'll do much better if there's already foodies in the body.
Maitreya said, aversion. Try having broth and then cooking thin sliced meat like hot pot, but simpler. That's a great suggestion. Mama Cat said, what ice cream maker do you two use? I'm thinking of getting one. So we use the Creamy for the most part. And then we do have a compressor ice cream maker, which is from a company called Winter, Wynter.
It's wonderful.
It is awesome. It's not cheap. We got it like on an Amazon Prime Day where it was like $140, but I think the regular price is like $300. It's the only reason I haven't sold it because we don't use it anymore.
Yeah.
But I paid $140 and you're $300 new.
What a bargain.
So that is great. What makes that good is it's got a built-in compressor. So what happens is you want ice cream, for example, Keto Chow ice cream or one of Carrie Brown's delicious ice cream recipes, real ice cream. You make it up and then you just flip a switch and you turn it on and it freezes everything just like a traditional ice cream maker. If you don't want that and you have the room in the freezer, the next best thing was like the Cuisinart, like just bowl ice cream things. They work very well. Carrie Brown has like 5 of them.
You need like 5 of them though, because of the fact that when we were using it, we just had one.
Yeah,
it was like
that doesn't. If you're one person, it works fine.
But one batch of ice cream means that Joe never gets ice cream because I'm getting that first batch.
Janice says you're not in your kitchen anymore. I like your background. So yeah, we do our live streams here. We do videos here, and then we use the kitchen kind of when we just want to be less formal in vlog. Yeah. This is our front room, by the way. If you're new here, this is literally the front door is right there, and we converted the entire family room into a studio. And people walk in our house and they're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "It's our job."
We said crazy.
And then
we said 2 crazy
in our kitchen,
ketos.
we have a permanently mounted camera with lights and cameras hanging from the ceiling. It's
and
like,
in our bedroom,
nothing.
No cameras.
No. We don't do that.
No.
And yeah, so we just kind of bounce back and forth.
We're not doctors, nurses, health professionals, or anything else.
No. Alyssa and John said, don't activate your sweet taste buds for 30 days and you will get tremendous leg up on your journey, killing the sugar-eating bacteria in your gut you're fighting with. Choose your burden. Yep,
yeah,
I completely agree. If you can go cold turkey for 30 days, that's the best way. Jackie said, you can fly into Indy and then ride down with me and Jim, driving straight through.
How
maybe
fun.
Bucky steps.
Ooh,
oh, believe me, I thought about
Buc-ee's.
driving, but like we're already going to be gone for 9 days.
I love me some Buc-ee's, though.
Nicholas and Chrissy said, what are your thoughts about a Quip? I've seen a few cool recipes, but I'm not sure I should invest in it. I have a lot of Keto Chow already, but I was thinking it was more comparable to Keto Chow Core. So
it is a beef protein.
It is a beef protein, actually. I believe it's from the same manufacturer, unless Keto Chow has changed, like the actual beef protein. We like a Quip. Before Keto Chow Core, we would buy the chocolate Equip and then add the Keto Chow base powder to turn it into Keto Chow.
Right, because we wanted the added electrolytes.
We even have a discount code. There's a link down below for Equip. So we've always liked Equip, and for people who want a non-dairy, just protein, not Keto Chow. I just want a non-dairy protein, and I don't care about the vitamins and nutrients, then that is where we've always told people to go to. Go to Equip because it's good, clean ingredients. Jedi of Love, should I freeze beef before I eat it raw? It's up to you. I know lots of people who just eat raw beef. For me, I think it would be a texture issue.
Yeah.
Michelle freezes beef litter and then eats it as capsules. I can't do that.
I do find, like, we had beef tartare with Dr. Berry, and it was good and cold. It was really, really cold, and that was the key for me. I think that if it was at all, like, it wasn't frozen, obviously, but, like, I find that, like, for I want to say patability. That's not it. It's for palatability. That was key, that it was cold first.
Sherry on a low-carb journey said, I've been kind of combining carnivore and keto. I love the extra options on keto, but sometimes the old sweet tooth gets me. Even clean keto treats can get out of hand. Doc said cholesterol was high.
Is a great, I mean, everybody knows what
that's
it
why
is.
We eat like 90% meat.
And that's the thing. And like, we know what we struggle with too. So even if it's not a sweet tooth, but it is nuts or it is cheese, I mean, you know what is the thing, and I mean, even carnivores will know. What is the thing that, like, I know I'm eating too much of this? I mean, if you're trying to, I mean, yes, you want to up your fat, but some people, if you are just like, I'm eating way more fuel than what I'm actually requiring of my body, like, you know, then even butter bites you'll have to dial back, right? I mean, we all know that we have struggles with individual things, and when you're like, hey, this is my thing, I need to watch it, and I watch it, I'll be successful.
Yeah. Okay, we have a bunch here, and I want to get through them all, so we're
Yeah.
going to run over a little bit.
Okay.
Franny said, I just met my 2 great grandkids for the first time.
How wonderful.
My oldest daughter brought her daughter, my first granddaughter, and her 2 children to see me yesterday. Cried happy and sad tears. Loved every minute.
Oh, Franny, and I am so glad that you are well in your body and able to be present. I mean, like, that's hashtag goals right there. Like, that was a really important moment for me when Peyton got to meet my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, like, she's still around for it. Like, I love that.
Yeah, I like this. Greg
Hey,
said,
Greg.
I think vegetable oil is awesome. I use it all the time. It's good for burning out stumps.
Now, that's a great place to use it, sir.
Carnivore kept barbecuing, said, Carnivore has been sustainable for me so far.
Great.
60 pounds is less than 3 months, started at 486.
Fantastic.
And again, I want to make this clear. We are not against
We're
Carnivore.
not against Carnivore.
I think Carnivore is awesome. And if it is sustainable for you, I have a lot of respect for you.
So
for
much.
me, it's not sustainable long term. Can I do it in short stints? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do we? Yes. If you look at our plates, 90% of what we eat is meat.
Right.
When we do eat, unless it's something like, our pizza that we had in today's vlog where it's all combined, if we have a salad, and usually it's a small salad, or broccoli, if we go out to Texas Roadhouse and they bring our prime rib and some broccoli and a salad, we eat the prime rib first. Then we move to the broccoli. We always believe in you eat the meat first and then eat the salad. And it just, what we were taught, eat a giant salad and then have a little bit of meat. Well, we're eat a lot of meat and then a little bit of salad. And so that's how we are. So 90 to 95% of what we eat is meat. I mean, when I'm having a big meat day, a big meal day, I eat like 2 pounds of beef.
Right.
So, I mean, we ate a whole bunch of wings today.
I think what is really important that we convey is that, like, we never want to, like, overpromise.
Right.
Like, we wouldn't want somebody to be like, I think, Rachel and Joe are totally carnivores, and then someone be disappointed when they see us eat a vegetable.
We are not a carnivore. Yep.
But we love carnivores.
Yep. And it's perfectly fine. I mean, keto is, especially if you're eating it properly and you're not just like going to the store and buying low carb tortillas and low carb bread and buying all of the stuff that's in the store that's labeled keto that's made by food companies that are just trying to trick you. If you're eating mostly meat and vegetables and you're keeping your carbohydrates under 20 total carbs for the day, then you're eating keto. And let's be real. Carnivore is keto. It's just a stricter version of keto.
Right.
That's all it is. Carnivore is keto. Keto is literally just a body state of being where your body is using fat for fuel. It's a way your body stops from starving. So if you're eating carnivore, you are keto. You're just eating a very strict version of keto where you're not having any extra carbs other than the carbs that are occurring in eggs and meat
or seasonings
and cheese and things like that. Rosie, this is a good question. Going to hit home for Rachel. Will gum start an insulin release? Yes.
It has been a huge challenge for me.
All the sugar-free gums out there.
Yeah.
Why? Because 99% of the sugar-free gums, there's only one that we've ever tried that was not sweetened with xylitol, and it was like chewing a piece of wax.
It was terrible.
And the flavor lasted for like
4 seconds.
It's less than the old Chiclets.
It was worse than Fruit Stripes gum.
Right?
It was like,
it's over.
All
of the gums out there, whether it be pure or all the rest of them, they're all sweetened with xylitol. Xylitol is a sugar alcohol. It is also deadly to dogs, so make sure your dogs don't get a hold of a piece of it. One piece of that gum can kill your dog.
Yeah.
But xylitol is not 0 on the glycemic index. I believe it's a 13, which means it will create an insulin response, whether or not you suffer from a cephalic insulin response or not. So cephalic insulin response is where your body has an insulin reaction because it thinks it's getting something sweet. So something like stevia, which is 0 on the glycemic index, which means it should not actually cause an insulin reaction. that could have a little tiny one in you. Xylitol will cause an insulin reaction because it is not 0 on the glycemic index.
Makes me really upset.
So, and it is 2 total
It's
carbs
hard.
per slice or per piece.
Per slice. It's hard to kick a gum habit. Like if somebody said like they smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day, I'd chew 3 packs of gum a day easily.
Marley said, I just realized how far I've come in my keto carnivore journey. I had a bowl of cooked ground beef mixed with sardines for dinner with salt, and it tasted amazing. I never used to like eat
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. It is interesting when you look down and you're like, is that my plate? Like, that's what I eat. That's how I feel when I'm still shocked when I get done eating lamb. I'm still like, just, what? Did I just eat that? Because I can remember being like, ew, I'll never eat that.
Yep. Marnie said, Dr.
Marnie.
Barry and Dr. Ben Bickman knocked it out of the park today. Yeah, I watched it. It was amazing. So much knowledge and good information we can actually use. They're both amazing.
Such great guys.
Serena said, I know I should eat more organ meat, but I don't like it at all. Beef liver or beef organ supplements, okay. Which brand would you guys recommend? I would say you have to be careful with the supplements. You make sure you're looking for a really good one, especially when it comes to liver. Look for grass-fed liver. That is why I don't care about grass-fed beef itself, but when you're buying the liver, I would go with grass-fed. Pasture-raised. You want something good, go to a local place. Michelle freezes it and takes it like little capsules.
Yeah.
There's no real one that I have found that I recommend other than just eating beef organs, which we are not a huge fan of. I believe Nisha has a couple that she has talked about, but we don't really have one that I've
We'll use like carnivore crisps, like just that, and then I will like just put it into our hamburger, or I will eat it like with a dip, and I'm using like the beef liver chips as like as a conveyance for something tastier. To me, that really helps. And then also when we got our cow, we asked them to just put all of the organ meat in with like the great big batch of hamburgers. So like all of the ground beef has a little bit of the organ meat in it.
Yeah.
And that kind of helps it.
Alyssa and John said, if you go pure carnivore, please don't go back. Your body will hate you. If you flop it will scream, I hate fiber. I've found 90% of carnivore works for me long term. And yeah, that's something we talked to Dr. Lenskis about on the podcast, and it's just your body's got to readjust.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. So if you're like, I'm afraid that if I do this, then I can never touch a vegetable again because I have some, discomfort after when I reintroduce it. Like, it just may be a slow process. It's kind of the same thing as when you are like, if you're coming from a low-fat, no-fat diet to trying to eat keto, and all of a sudden your gallbladder is alarming you, right? It's a big adjustment for your body. It's because your body's not used to dealing with fat anymore, right? So it's the same thing when you've like stopped dealing with vegetables anymore, and then you try to bring it back in. No, do not have a big giant salad after a year of carnivore. That's going to really cause some abdominal dysfunction. You would have to like go in slow. That's why we also recommend even after 30, 60, or 90 days of triple B and E, just that fast, you need to reincorporate things like one new ingredient at a time, because your body is like thinking this is the way it's going to be for life, right? I'm used to this now.
Rick Wynn said, can you eat chicken liver? Yeah, I thought he was asking us, which the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And Nisha has a great recipe. Or is it Nisha
pate.
or is it Nisha or is it Kim that had a pate recipe? I just remember it's really good. And said some people just never eat organ meat. Dr. Baker doesn't eat organ meat. You can also include a bit of liver into your ground beef. It doesn't have to be much. And that's what we did. When we bought our cow, we just had them put it all right into the ground beef, and you don't know it's there. Senator Ty Bob said, you were so right there. They were serving Papa John's after church last night for the teens. There were leftovers, and instead I went and got some salt.
Way to go.
Lori said, can you put too much butter in your coffee? I only have one coffee experience a day. I'm on day 82 of beef, butter, bacon, and egg. I have my coffee for breakfast and about 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter and an egg.
If you're enjoying it,
if you are having results.
Yeah.
Now, if you're drinking 5 coffees a day and you're putting 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter in your coffee, there's a good chance that you're going to have some struggles because you're consuming a tremendous amount of fat, not including what's in your food. Like, again, we don't do calorie counting, but just remember it's a meal. Like, when you're putting 4 tables, if you're on average, when we do talk about calories, you're looking at like 2,000 calories a day minimum. I love Dr. Berry just recently put out a video, like counting calories is really stupid. I agree. Especially when you're eating just whole foods like meat and having your butter and stuff. But if you're going to have it all day long, you're never allowing your body to get into satiety. Like that's 400 calories of fat. That's what a lot of people eat as a meal.
Right. So I would eat that with a meal.
Have that. That's your meal. That's part of it. That's going to, if that's satiating you, helping you to not, and to go to your next meal, you're perfectly fine. Now, if you find
that you're like Rachel and you're drinking 2 pots of coffee a day.
You're drinking a lot of it and you're not losing any weight, and if you start looking at it and going, I'm eating 200 grams of fat a day, that might be one of the places you want to cut down a little bit.
Yeah.
Country Girl said, don't you recommend 1-to-1 on fat to protein? How do you know how many grams of protein a day? We recommend starting at 1-to-1. 1-to-1 should be your minimum. You should not be eating less protein than fat. You should be eating at least 1 gram of fat to 1 gram of protein. And then elevating your fat from there. Most people are going to be good somewhere around 2 grams of fat to 1 gram of protein, which is going to put you somewhere around 75% of your calories from fat if you were looking at calories, which we don't. 1-to-1 is going to be about 65% of your calories from fat, but somewhere around 2-to-1, even for some people 3-to-1 is where they're going to fall in. We recommend, my personal opinion is nobody should be eating less than 80 to 100 grams of protein a day, and that is a bare minimum. If you want an absolute number, I like Dr. Berry's interpretation. Take your current body weight, figure out what that is in kilograms, not pounds, in kilograms. And that is how many grams of protein that you should be eating as a bare minimum, and it is probably not enough. The easiest way to go is at least 80 to 100 grams of protein and then elevate from there. I think most people between 100 to 150 is a great place. If you're doing a lot of bodybuilding and you're trying to build a bunch of muscle, going all the way up to 180, 200 grams, it's going to be hard to overeat protein. It just is. You're going to have a hard time overeating protein because you're going to hit a protein wall.
Right.
Just make sure you're consuming enough fat with it. The protein will fill you up in the moment. The fat's going to take you to your next meal, and fat is going to give you all of your energy. You need the fat. Lori said, I was addicted to sugar before adapting low-carb lifestyle 20 years ago.
Yay.
Now I'm ketovore, completely eliminate all things sweet. Now I don't crave sweet at all. I can take it or leave it.
That is such a great thing. And that was definitely something that was key for us as far as like bread. So maybe it wasn't a sweet thing, but maybe it's like breads and pastas. And so we didn't really look for any type of like look-alike or anything until, what do you?
Mama Cat's calling you out.
Okay, Rachel, how was your jog today? My jog was yesterday and tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So great. Yes, I'm doing it. I'm sticking with it, and thank you for asking.
Our community is holding you accountable.
That's what I need, y'all. That is exactly what I need. Thank you.
A couple more before we get out. Joanna said, I tried to listen to your latest podcast, but my earbud died. Boo. I'll catch it tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's really good. It's long.
Not because it's us. It's because it's him.
It is long, and
we're so awesome.
And honestly,
Dr.
like
awesome.
as we're going, as we're recording it, I'm sitting there going, boy, this is long, but I don't want to stop.
I didn't either.
And I'm going, I wonder if he's sitting there going, no, can we stop, please? And we just kept going and going. And I'm like, this is too good. We're not cutting anything out. It was just good.
Boy, I'll tell you what. When he talked about the diabetes medicine that people are using to try to lose weight on. Woo.
Yep. Let's not talk about that.
I won't talk about it.
We're not doctors, but
we're not doctors, but that was interesting.
I would not be using.
I would not be using that. We talk about we should not be using. Probably that.
He hit you on getting liposuction too.
Yes, once he was talking about liposuction,
not that you need liposuction,
but I had thought of it over the years, and then I was like, oh yeah, no. That's not going to be helpful.
Yep.
But it makes sense, right? Because it's like we're a lot of times we're thinking short-term answer, but we're going to create a long-term problem.
Yeah.
So like I want what I want right now, but at what cost for my future?
Yeah.
I mean, that was basically how we ate, right? When everything was like sugar, bread, and nonsense, we were living for the moment with no care for the rest of our life or any idea of longevity. Like tomorrow, I'm never going to have to pay the bill for this lifestyle, right? And it's just not true.
Amanda said, I can't overstate the danger of statins and low cholesterol, which even a lot of doctors don't know about. A cholesterol at 110 turned my sweet loving husband into a nasty, mean, depressed monster. Yeah, if you asked me, and again, this is me, this is Joe. We are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. Everything we talk about is based on our own personal opinion, what we've learned and experimented on ourselves. I would never take a statin, ever. I don't care what, if my doctor said take a statin or I'm not your doctor anymore, fine, bye. Then you can give me a statin, I'm not going to take it. I'm just not going to take it. I'm fine to fill the prescription. I'm not taking it. It's less than a 1% improvement. Less than a 1% reduction of the risk of a heart attack. But at what cost? Look at all the side effects. Look up the side effects of statins. We've talked about in your family, which we won't get into now, and dementia and everything else with everybody that's been on statins. And oh, by the way, it's never been tested on women. So
just prescribe to them.
Yeah. So Shauna said, when you get to the Play-Doh stage, I have a great non-toxic homemade recipe. 25-year nanny preschool teacher.
I am definitely like, and again, I love it, and I usually, I mean, we were in charge of children's ministry, and I've been in kids ministry for 30 years, but I always seem to land in like toddlers, 3-4-year-olds. Like those were a lot of the, the ages that I really liked to, get started with as far as like from a teaching perspective. So I'm excited about that age, but like, what is the 3-month-old? Yep. 4-month-olds, like the playing with the 3 and the 4-month-old.
Yep. Okay, last one. Kathy said, my heart doctor told me I need to be on cholesterol medication. I said my cholesterol went up, but my triglycerides came down 200 points. He said triglycerides have little to do with heart disease.
Great day.
I would very nicely, lovingly point him to Dr. Barry's videos and other videos, Dave Feldman.
Yeah.
And possibly start looking for another doctor if
right.
possible. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Remember, you are in charge of your health journey.
Yeah.
You are in charge of your doctor.
But that is amazing.
You're 200 points.
Kathy, can we just like celebrate the fact that like 200 points down? Like that's freaking incredible, young lady.
Yeah. So
incredible.
Okay, we are gonna get off and go enjoy some ice cream because we're having dessert tonight.
Let's do it.
Ready? Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited about this weekend. We will be back, hopefully.
Monday.
Live Monday.
Hopefully I'll have a shower before then. You know how it is.
I'm going diving at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So, yeah, we will be back Monday live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Have a great night, guys.
We love you.